Welcome to the Solid Signal podcast for the week of April 10th, 2017. I am, as always, your host, Stuart, and here at our West Coast offices, they are once again tearing up the roads outside, and I do not know exactly what effect that is going to have on this recording. So if you hear something weird in the background, please do forgive me, and I'm recording this in the interest of making sure that you can hear this on this week. I would otherwise have to perhaps put off the podcast for another week, and I know that the few of you who do listen do appreciate hearing it. This past week I had the distinct pleasure of going to the factory where Televes antennas are made. This is an incredibly advanced manufacturing facility, and for that reason I wasn't able to take a lot of pictures, so it became a great topic for the podcast if you think about it that way, where all I can do is describe things. I gotta tell you, this was heaven for me. I just loved it. It was like watching a 16-hour marathon of how it's made, except for you're doing it in person. We're talking about the most advanced stuff. We're talking about robots. We're talking that in this factory they make everything. I mean, okay, they may not make some of the screws, and I'm pretty sure they don't make the boxes, but they form their own metal and they mold their own plastic. They build their own circuit boards. They design everything. They make everything that matters, and they test it all incredibly obsessively to make sure that everything works on its way out the door. They've got some of the most advanced testing facilities that you find in all of Europe, because it is a European company, and they actually can test, incredibly detailed things. This was the first time I'd ever stepped into what's called an anechoic chamber, which is a chamber that eliminates almost all outside noises and absorbs all noise within. So in other words, there's just no background noise at all. If you stand there for a minute and stop talking, you can hear yourself breathing, you can hear the blood going through your ears. It's incredibly neat. And all the kinds of testing that you need to make sure that an antenna actually does what it's supposed to do. They even had facilities for stuff that, as an antenna seller, I wasn't even aware of. They've got laser cutters and CNC machines. That's right, I got to get right up to a machine that was cutting metal with light, and how cool is that? And powder coating and metal stamping. This was, think of any kind of advanced manufacturing, and they were doing it. And this all kind of ends up explaining to you why it is that Televes antennas are as good as they are, because they're exhaustively tested. There's optical testing, there's laser testing, there's functionality testing. Every kind of test that you could possibly imagine is performed on these things, so that by the time they get to you, there's a really good chance that they're going to work exactly as expected. I'm afraid to say that not every antenna is that level of testing. And yes, it does make Televes antennas just a little bit more expensive, but so be it. That's just the way that it goes if you're looking for something that's going to be on your roof for 10 years or longer. Some of the antennas that I saw had been outside for decades, and they looked brand new, which was really impressive. And overall, everyone I talked to there was extremely knowledgeable. Oh, sure, they may have had somebody there who didn't know what they were doing, but they were wise enough not to have them in front of me. Seriously, that's a bit of a joke. I am sure everybody there knows exactly what they're doing. And especially when you talk about the robots and stuff like that, all the manufacturing robots that are there, they even program those in-house. Everything is done in-house in this just beautiful facility. Extremely clean, and the outside is just lovely. If you happen to have any curiosity, go to Google Maps and search for the Televes factory in Spain. It's just a beautiful area. Anyway, I've droned on quite a bit, and I've managed to make it through the podcast without being unduly interrupted by the steamrollers outside our West Coast facility. So I'm not going to press my luck any further. I'm just going to say thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next week. If you have any more ideas for future podcasts, be sure to leave a comment here, or press that orange suggest a topic button at blog.solidsignal.com. Have a great week.